And while Hollywood was filled to the brim with celebrities, a celebrity of our very own right here in the capital city sat among them. Topeka Public School Superintendent Dr. Tiffany Anderson walked the red carpet at last night's Oscar ceremony. She was selected as one of the 2016 top creative business leaders by Fast magazine for her work with Jennings School District. That was where she worked before coming to Topeka last year. The Oscars began using this event last year to highlight and showcase people with purpose. We'll hear from Dr. Anderson, who's live in the studio this morning in just a few minutes, so make sure you do stay tuned for that interview. And happy Monday. It has been a crazy couple of hours, 24 hours for Dr. Tiffany Anderson, who's live with me this morning after attending the Oscars last night. You were on the red carpet for PricewaterhouseCoopers People with Purpose event. Very cool. How did you get involved with this organization?
Well, in 2016, they selected the top 100 most creative business leaders in the nation. And so I was selected as one of those individuals while in my past district. And so following that, I was invited just after I started in Topeka to go to the Oscars and to walk the red carpet, which is much of what I did because I rushed back here. But such an amazing experience and just humbled to be around the people with similar purpose.
Absolutely. And of course, PricewaterhouseCoopers' mission for people with purpose for the red carpet was to showcase, all these movies really do have more than just an entertainment aspect. It really shows a lot of purpose and meaning behind today's issues. And you, I know, were selected to discuss your past and your future too with education and how you've shaped that in Jennings School District, of course, in Missouri. Dr. Tiffany Anderson, of course, being with Topeka just this last year. What was your work with Jennings that had inspired this nomination?
Well, really, at this point, being there, I was really representing Topeka at this point, and education and investing in education. Yes. Jennings had 100% poverty, but even with that, we had almost 100% graduate, almost 100% placed in colleges and jobs, which is kind of unheard of right now. And so now in Topeka, we've done already so many things, and Topeka is just a great place to begin with, but we're building onto that foundation. So there, while there, I talked about investing in education, and that was my big message, to talk about how everyone can get involved. Collective empowerment just can change the world.
And I believe one of the best quotes I thought from last night that you gave in your interview was the best person to blame if something goes wrong is yourself. Absolutely. And explain that a little more.
Really there aren't any barriers or challenges. I see them as opportunities, any challenge that comes your way. And so really it's really intended to get around that opportunity and to be a problem solver. So your only barrier is your only mindset. And I have learned that over the years and put that in practice. And we've shown what's really possible when you think a little differently.
Absolutely. Attitude and a change in your own attitude really can change a lot. We'll be hearing more from Dr. Anderson later on in the show. Thanks for being with us this morning, and I know you're a little tired, but we're so very lucky to have you with us. And we've been talking about it all morning long, and it is my absolute pleasure to have Dr. Tiffany Anderson, our superintendent of schools here in Topeka, in the studio. She has had quite the 24 hours. She had the immense opportunity to actually be on the red carpet for the Oscars last night, and you were invited to be a part of PricewaterhouseCoopers People with Purpose. This all started last year to really show the issues that are surrounding some of these movies, and of course you were there to really foster and support public education.
Absolutely. It's really not about what you're wearing, but it's more so about the messages. And so last year, the Huffington Post and PwC all really collaborated to look at how they can talk about purpose. What are the big issues? Shine a spotlight on that. And it was just wonderful to be part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you, of course, were the 2016 Top Creative Business Leader by Fast magazine for your work in Jennings School District, of course, in Missouri. You're back here in Topeka now from this last school year. But, really your mission and your voice at the award ceremony last night was to inspire people of all organizations to really help support and foster the success of our youth.
That's right. I mean, the Huffington Post, the red carpet is live streamed, and they had millions of viewers really listening to the message of investing in public schools. It's really the great equalizer. Every one of us has been impacted by education and by a teacher in some way, and we have some amazing teachers and principals in Topeka, but we can't do it alone. And so really I try to speak that message, invest in public schools. Here in Topeka ourselves, in our school district, we have West Star Energy, and we have Advisors Excel, who has adopted schools and have done projects. But we really are challenging everyone. We have 30 schools in Topeka, and we would love for each company to invest in getting kids into post-secondary schools and really kind of wrap their arms around us in that way. Lots of people do small things, but really saying, I'm going to invest $1 million or $2 million in each one of our schools, that's huge. And those two companies have done that.
Yeah, companies and even individuals alike, individuals, even on a smaller scale, I know have made such a big difference. And, one thing we had mentioned, there were several questions you were asked last night at the Oscars, but one that you did not get to really address as much is how our future is looking in some of our educational tactics. One headline, actually in News Today here in Topeka, is regarding the ACTs.
Absolutely. Today is a big day for us. It is. We are probably the only school district in this state that's giving the ACT during the school day. When I started here, students and staff talked about all of the barriers that kids have with taking the ACT on Saturdays and the cost. So we redirected funds, and we have about 500 kids, juniors and seniors, that are taking the ACT today in class as a result of their voices. Just another example of how you can remove barriers and increase access and opportunity for all kids.
Absolutely. And real quick, I have to ask you, how was just the experience of being on the red carpet?
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I had my gown on and my sneakers.
Oh, yeah, we heard you had the sneakers on.
That whole piece, it's not about the clothing piece, but it's really about being boots to the ground. It's so interesting seeing the different actors and actresses and all of those things, and not trying to seem starstruck.
Yeah.
And so really just being able to watch and be part of that. I didn't stay for much of the Oscars because I wanted to get back here in time for school today. I really was there more so for the message, to be able to give that on the red carpet. The other piece, on Saturday, we had practice all Saturday and Sunday, and they talked about the ballot counter. So it was really interesting seeing the mix-up, because it seemed almost impossible. 89 years of the Oscars to see that kind of mix-up. And we spent a good 30-40 minutes learning about how they memorized the names and just the whole pieces with that. So it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Last piece, being the first African-American female superintendent in Topeka, to be there at the Oscars with the most diverse group of movies for this year, that was pretty incredible and historical.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and we're very honored to have you represent Topeka at the Oscars last night. Thanks for being with us this morning, Dr. Anderson.